Alright, so this is another quick one while I'm tired as fuck. So yeah, so today we're gonna be looking at something a little bit more interesting. It's pretty cool. Just to build up on the first few discoveries and my initial impressions on surfing from last time. This time we're doing something a little more exciting. So I'm just going to pick up on the same config we were using last time that we kind of showcased the previous one. But and then we'll talk about the map. So I'm just gonna do SVG's one because I want a no clip. But this is beginner. Ported to source 2. So this was given to me by Zen, who's a developer for Momentum Mod, most notably. And yeah, they ported them. I think they ported the map. Well, at the very least, they packaged it. So I'm not too sure on that, but just like last time, not exactly relevant to us at the moment. This is a much better looking port than the Utopia one that we looked at last time. So we have something a little bit more pleasant on the eyes this time. So, what do we have to show you this time? So, I'll just take you back here just because there's more space to walk around. So, last time was more of a focus on trying to mess with some configs that I'd been working on before in anticipation of CS2 releasing. I wasn't sure exactly what we were hopping into and whether those configs would even work all that much, but most of them did, and that's all that mattered. With that, and even without that, the surf felt really good. The game is still very new, so we don't really have a modding API or anything like that to go off of, kind of like how we have source mod on CSGO. We don't have anything on CS2 yet. Everyone's still in the process of digging around the game, poking around things, and trying to figure out what's possible and what's not. In that process, a lot of extremely talented people have been making a lot of progress. For example, what I'm going to show you today that I've been playing around is is something very cool that some of the people over at Zombie Escape have managed to get working. And there are just a range of these different mods and things that people are discovering about the game. Lots of bugs, lots of cool things, lots of bugs that are being forcefully patched, or manually patched, I should say, and it's just all very cool, even though it's only been a couple of days at this point. So, last time there were a couple of issues. So just to go off of last time I couldn't actually find how to turn bind. Bit stupid of me, in my opinion. After someone told me how to do it. I'm not entirely sure how I missed it, but I did. Maybe I'm just blind or something. But you can absolutely turn bind. It's instead of plus left, it's plus turn left. Which makes perfect sense. I have no clue why I didn't see it. But I missed that, so you definitely can turn bind. The yaw is quite fast. It's a lot faster than CSGO. I'm sure most people get used to it, but even if they don't, all of the external tools that people were using on CSGO should work on this game anyway, so shouldn't be too big of a deal, really, coming from CSGO. So that's pretty cool. Something I noted last time was the bunny hopping was kind of crappy. That's different now. Feels a lot nicer, but that is also mostly in part of the change that I'm about to showcase, and that is so some of the people from ZE have managed to get the functionality or the behavior of CSGO Movement Unlocker working on CS2. For those of you who don't know, the CSGO Movement Unlocker plugin is a source mod plugin that just about every single surf server on planet Earth runs. It removes a lot of the restrictions that CSGO places on movement, just to simplify it, making it a lot more free and making it have a lot of the mechanics that people have come to expect when playing movement game modes. For example, pre-strafing is a very big part of that. So as you can see, when I'm I'm just strafing around, if you look at my CL show pause, you can quite easily see that I am going well above 250 just by moving around. this was not possible normally. And, well, that's just normal CS2 and CSGO for that matter. But Movement Unlocker does allow you to pre-strafe. So, you know, you could do a normal surf pre-strafe, and it actually works. So that's pretty cool. It makes B-hopping a lot nicer as well. So I could just turn bind and scroll hop, and you can kind of just look at CL show pause and see how fast I'm going. It feels a lot nicer. Your air strafing actually works. Your pre-strafing actually works. It feels a lot closer to an actual surf experience than ever before. I mean, you could pretty much just see from, even though with my crappy surfing and my inability to remember that I need to manually b-hop, that just by the units per second, this feels phenomenally better than the last time. And that's mainly because of the functionality that was modded in. And to just piggyback off of the thing that I started with about how the game doesn't have any modding API or a plugin API or anything like that CSGO does. This is being modded into the game directly. So we're byte patching it into DLL files that the game uses to actually run functions, and modifying core elements of the game directly to get the functionality that we want. Down the line, once there's a plugin API and stuff like that, it'll be much nicer to run. You won't have to have something like IDA that I have on the screen, just, you know, patching in bytes by hex and then hoping something works, and if it doesn't, you just nuke the game offline. It'll be a lot better in the future, hopefully, as people kind of dig around with the game more and some more support for easier modding of the game comes around. The game's still very new. Very few people have access to the actual game. A lot of developers and a lot of really talented people that are working on it right now are kind of relying on non-official versions of the game, which I think is really unfortunate, but it is what it is, and it is what people need to do to get things going while they wait for their actual access to the game to show up. Other than that, though, something a bit funny with the whole pre-strafing thing is your legs looks even worse now. You might see when I'm zigzagging like this that it looks really bad. It's even worse if you're spinning around at a high speed or jumping around. It looks really odd, almost like you're desyncing with your own body. I can imagine this just looking awful when going down a spiral at 2500 or 3500 units a second. So that is certainly interesting. I'm sure at some point this can be dealt with either by hiding it or, worst case scenario, literally just swapping out the player model for something a lot more suitable for Surf, B-Hop, and KZ. Just so you can kind of, you know, get rid of this, at this point, quite frankly, distraction. Like, this is just a distraction. Especially when it bugs out like this, but maybe that's just because the game is still new. Maybe it'll be a lot better later on, but regardless, I feel like it's just going to be really weird with your legs being all floppy. But in any case, I'm sure it can be easily dealt with, either by modding the game at some point and hiding it from view, or just by switching out the player model to something that doesn't have limbs. Like, you could literally just make everyone look like eggs, which I think Momentum mod does. So yeah, I mean, you could just swap everyone out into eggs and just, you know, don't have limbs, you can't see it. Or something along the line, something that fits whatever game mode. So, not a big deal in my opinion, but yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to show. It's like pre-strafing's working, air strafing's working correctly, B-hopping's a lot nicer, speed gain is all pretty good, and it's mostly because of the functionality of Movement Unlocker being modded into the game. Which makes this feel even better. I commented last time when I first got my hands on Surf in this game, but how nice it felt. This just makes it feel even better. So I'm still feeling quite hopeful. I think everyone else should be too. It's pretty nice. Other than that, there was something else I don't remember. It's late, so I think I'm just gonna call it there. Yeah, that's it. You guys have anything more I should try to test out? Let me know.